3.5 sacks per game. Is there a particular learning point you've had now as opposed to what you anticipated before the season with how dominant that front seven would be, getting pressure on early?
No, you really don't know until you get in games how you can affect someone. You just kind of break them down. And some weeks you think you have a better chance of getting sacks, and other weeks you don't. And sometimes it might be the personnel, sometimes it might be the scheme. So right now, we're doing well rushing the passer. Hopefully we continue.
Jason Garrett, before they picked up last game, you saw some new guys play cornerback. Just what are your thoughts on their performance and how are those two guys looking headed into FSU?
I thought they played well. The Brown brothers came in. Richard came in for a little bit. The younger Brown did really good. So, it's good that we got those guys in there. And, you always want to play a lot of guys, but sometimes the situations don't allow it. And sometimes your hand is forced to where you have to play them. Like the other night, it was just luckily they were ready to play, and I thought they played well.
What makes Travis so hard to contain as a quarterback? Because he seemed like he really got the offense orchestrating that second half against Pittsburgh last week.
I've been watching him for a couple of years now. It's always something different. He's very mobile. He's got a good feel for the game. You got a guy come free at him, and you think you're going to get him sacked, and he makes that guy miss. He does it over and over again. He knows where his wide receivers are when he scrambles. He's just a football player, a really good quarterback. You can't say enough about that guy. He is a total football player.
Similarly about FSU's top two receivers, Coleman and Goldsmith, what do they do aside from just being tall that makes them really good?
Well, they're not just tall. Coleman's good. He can run. He runs well with the ball after he catches it. He can make a guy miss. He can catch the ball in traffic. Physical young man, and then Wilson's huge. So they create problems, but they create problems for everybody. So I promise you, a guy with a U on his helmet will be out there covering both of them. So, we're going to battle, we're looking forward to it, to tell you the truth. So.
That offense likes to run a lot of counter, and this team faced it last year. How much of the preparation goes around kind of containing that counter?
We've been seeing counter all year. Probably last year, they were very, very good at it. This year, I don't know if they're not as good, but they throw the ball a lot more. So you got to deal with the counter with the running back and the quarterback, and then they have the play action off of it. So they create a lot of problems, but they're good at running the counters, their best play, and we'll have to do a good job of defending it, of course.
Obviously, I know you weren't here last year, but a lot of guys on the defense were. Last year was not the best showing for Miami's defense. How eager have you gotten a sense from the players that they are to kind of come back and basically get the same team again?
I think they think of the last year loss as a loss, but for as what happened in the game, they've moved past it, So I haven't really watched last year's game because they're going to attack us different because we're a different type of defense. We line up differently than we did, so we're trying to find the same type of fronts and same type of pressures, the same type of zones that other defenses has ran against Florida State, and look at those videos and see how they played it. But who knows what we're going to see. We're doing a good job right now of going back and taking every play that's hurt us over the year, because Coach Norvell does a good job of identifying maybe formations or plays that other people have hurt you with, and he comes back and he runs them. So right now we're taking like a intel of all the different plays that have hurt us and working on those as well, because we know that they'll come up probably at some point.
There was a running play I think they ran 29 times against you guys last year.
Count. Clemson ran counter. A lot of people have run counter this year. And they're good at running back. So it's not just their linemen. Their running backs are very good at breaking tackles. Last year we didn't fit things properly, and sometimes the running back just made a play. So we're going to work on counter.
Yeah, I know you weren't here. If I said you guys, you obviously weren't here, but I imagine.
No, but I'm part of Miami, so it's me.
I imagine you've watched it a few times on tape, probably all 29 of them.
Yeah.
What can be done differently?
We're a different structure defensively. So what they saw last year, I don't know what they saw, but they'll take the game. They'll take the run plays that hurt us, that other teams have done, but they're going to run counter. We're going to have to defend it well. It's one of the big plays that we got to stop.
J.D. Davis and Darryl Porter, Mari said they're okay for this week. You know, I know the Brown brothers were in there. How did they do? And yeah, just a quarterback situation.
The Brown brothers played. They did good. They came in. I just addressed that a while ago. They came in. They played well. And then hopefully we got both of the other guys as well. Davis and Porter will be in the game. So we'll find out toward, we get later into the week exactly who will be the starter and all that. But a guy with the U on his helmet will be out there.
To defending counter in general?
If you knew which way they was going to run it, it'd be better. But, a lot of times you can get a key, whether it's to the running back side, they run it, or they're running away from the running back side. They run it both. They also run it out of pistol. They'll run it with a tight end off the ball or on the ball, and they'll run it away from them. So there's really no indicator of which way they'll run it. So you've got to make sure that you have an extra defender every time they run it, because if they pull guard tackle, they're creating gaps on the other side. They're taking two and bringing them on the other side. So you've got to be able to add two extra guys on that side. How you do it is depending on what structure of a defense you're in. So as you look at it, you just got to be able to remember the game Tetris, where you kind of fit things. That's how it is in fitting the counter. You've got to borrow things from this side to get it over here to stop the play. And then you also got to have a guy on the quarterback in case he pulls it by trying to get people over. So it's tough. It's a tough situation. You can blitz from the side. You can blitz away from it. You can use interior guys to read it and get an extra hat. So it just depends on what structure we're in is how we'll try to stop it.
FSU's tight end, Jaheim Bell, having a very solid season. How do you like the matchup between him and, whether it's a slot corner or a linebacker covering him?
He's a good football player. They do a lot of things with him. They'll run him on speed sweeps. They'll put him out in routes. He even runs the football from the backfield. So he's almost like another running back, almost fullback-ish. So I think we got guys that can run with him and play with him, and we'll have to defend him according to what spot he's in. Not like Concepcion last week, but they do a lot of things with him that you have to identify where he's at and what they like to do when he's in that spot.
I know Kiko Maui-Noa, I'm sure you guys expected a lot from him the moment he arrived, but how has he lived up to the expectations that, you and the rest of the staff had for him?
He's done really well. I think he's one of the leaders on defense. He seems to make the plays when we need him to make it. So he came to Miami to play in games like this, so I know he'll be excited this week.
Coaches always preach, play for 60 minutes. You guys are dominant, probably for at least 53 of them. The other night, there was that one drive, obviously the 97-yard drive, where things fell apart a little bit. Is that a teaching tool for you? Like, just to reinforce?
Yeah. Well, the game is a game of emotions. So it's hard to go out there every series of every moment and play your best. I mean, it just is. It's part of it. I thought the other night there was two series I'd like to take back. One of them was around midfield, and they got in the spread swinging gate look, and they ran the speed sweep with Concepcion, and we didn't have an automatic check to it like we should have, and that's on me. I didn't know it was coming, but still, it's something you kind of prepare for. And then one play led to 2 plays, to 3 plays, to 4 plays, and they scored. Well, the same thing kind of happened on that long drive. I think the third down that he completed over the middle got him going. And then on another third down, he ran speed option, and we kind of messed up our fit on the speed option. And then it kind of dominoed from there. And sometimes the things that happen before the series kind of affect you a little bit. But for the most part, we were put in some tight spots. And our kids are mentally tough. They're fighters. And I like to go to war with them any day of the week. And, I didn't like it. Of course, I want them to be perfect. That's what we strive for. But it's kind of human nature sometimes. So that's the thing. It's a teaching moment, of course. And, we just want to be able to stop the bleeding. Don't let 1-2 plays lead to 3, 4, and 5.
Ask you about emotions. About James Williams. He's been playing so well. I know there was one play, I think he was penalized.
Yeah, he was penalized. He actually hit the quarterback inbounds and threw him out of bounds. I'm not an official, but to me that was legal. But
I didn't know if that would in the past, like a couple years ago, he would get.
yeah, well, he gets emotional. He's an emotional guy. you know,
But
and,
much better though, so,
you wanna hold him back, but you gotta turn him loose too. You know, you don't wanna always hold him back, hold him back, hold him back. He's scared to do anything. So, I thought he was in bounds, and I wish he'd have hit that quarterback like he hit the running back. The running back, I wish he'd have hit him at the end of the play and wrapped up like that. But James is done really well this year. I think he's handling himself really well. Gets a little chippy at times, and we always talking to him about that. But he's had some really big plays this year and some big hits.
I guess the reason I brought it up is because this is an emotional kind of game. These guys know each other. It's a big game every year, so it gets a little.
It's going to be emotional. I'm going to be emotional. Hopefully, I don't get a flag.
How do you see this kind of environment for Ruben Bain to apply what he's learned thus far, being the ACC, being in his hometown as well? How do you kind of see that, being a growing experience for him and also for the Thrive too?
The other night at NC State, at North Carolina, everywhere I've been, when games are packed, they packed. It's all the same. I coached in high school where it was town rivalries, and all you could see was the field, and everybody's around the track, and everybody's up on you. It's the same feeling. It's no different how many people. It doesn't matter if it's 100,000 or if it's 20,000 at a local high school. That feeling is the exact same. I think people get caught up into too much of that. The only thing's different is the loudness, and really that's really on the offense because of snap counts and things like that. But when you're in an opposing field, they don't get loud when we're on defense. It's when we're at home they get loud. So that's the hard part. But to me, a packed game is a packed game. It really is. I know it's to some people they don't think that, but it really is. A packed game in high school, college, no matter where it's at, it's the same feeling.
The other night, James played, back on James, he played really physical, very physical game. With the new rules and the way they are, what is your message on playing physical and being physical like that?
Well, you got to be careful not to lead with your head. That's number one. You want to stay out of the target area, but sometimes it's hard when you're trying to make a big hit and you're trying to run through a guy and he lowers his head. You're going to make the proper hit and he lowers his head and all of a sudden it can be head-to-head contact. So you got to be careful with that. More so when a guy is really running across and maybe he don't see you and it's a blindside hit, that's when you really got to watch out how you hit him. And when you're 6'4", like James is, it's hard to hit low, because you're so tall. So the other night on the sideline, it was really close when he hit that kid. But I tell him to try to run through him. I don't want to take the violence away from the game. I think the game is made to be physical. And whether you're hitting a wide receiver, running back, or quarterback, when you hit him, you got to make him feel it without being dirty, of course, legally. But, that's the way the game's supposed to be played.
Just with your experience as a coach, defensively in particular, when an offense is having its struggles the way it is right now, what's your message to your unit, your group, to essentially not let that affect how you guys are playing?
Well, I always look at it as a head coach. I've been a high school head coach. I've been a college head coach. And I always tell the defensive guys, our job is to outplay the other team's defense. That's who we compete against. Our job is not really against the other team's offense. It's against the other team's defense. If you keep it that way, then you never can blame the offense. So if their defense got 4 turnovers and we only got 2, they beat us. So that's how I try to approach it. So if you do that, you keep the finger pointing out of it. And same thing with offense. If we need to score 56 points, we need to score 56 points. You have to outplay the other team's offense. If you do that, you'll stick together. And sometimes it's just a play away. A&M was a close game. Clemson was a close game. The game we won against Virginia was a close game, and we won it because we stuck together. We just kept waiting for the offense to make a play, and they make a play, we came back and we win. So that's what I think the biggest thing that you talk to you guys about is, hey, let's play against the other team's defense. We need to match whatever they're doing, and you keep a togetherness that way.
Have you had that mentality for a while? Is that something?
That's just a high school trick that you do, because when you're a head coach, you do everything. You coach offense, you coach defense, you coach special teams, so there can't be no finger pointing. You're responsible for it all, so that's the way you talk to your kids. And in high school, sometimes your kids play both ways. But ever since I got in college, I always thought of it that way. I took at it from my head coach's point of view mentally, that's who we're playing against, and I think it cuts down on a lot of that. Because there's, in that series that led to touchdowns, there's things we could have done different defensively that we wasn't perfect. And I don't expect them to be perfect, but there's things we could have done in that game to possibly win as well. Thank you very much. Thank you. I appreciate it.